Okay, yesterday we are done with the discussion of the item profile options, and we created an item, and also we discussed how to inactivate the item and how to apply template to the item at org level, and how to delete the item. Today we'll discuss how to create multiple items. We'll discuss today.
Krishna, how we define the locator at item level?
I'll show you. From the product management and product information management, PIM, and I'm creating more than one item. Maximum we can create 99 items at a time. Maximum we can create 99 items at a time. I'm going to show you how to create two items. And select the template that we want to apply. I'm showing 2 items creation. Maximum we can create 99 items. Item name, item description, and for this item, what is the unit of measure? For this item, what is the unit of measure? And if you want to modify any attributes, you can modify from the specifications. You can modify any attributes if you want. I'm not modifying anything. And I'm assigning this item. I'm assigning this item directly to the inventory organizations, but the plus button is disabled here. It's the application bug in the screen. It's a bug in this page. So keep your cursor to the bottom and then again reselect the record. Then you'll see the plus button get enabled. And I'm assigning this item to the Hyderabad and Bangalore. Okay, I just finished entering the details for one item and then the second item.
So generally items are creating under item master organization.
Yes, I selected item master org only. Before I come to the screen, I selected item master org only, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll show you. If you go to the association, see here all the master org is there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And keep your cursor to the top and then come back to the original record. Now you see the plus button enabled. I'm seeing this bug from many years. Oracle has not fixed this bug. And I'm assigning the item to the inventory organizations. So this is how we can define more than one item. We can create a maximum 99 items. We can create maximum 99 items. Okay. Now we'll see how to create a item by copying an existing item. Again, I'm going to the create item. And here I'm selecting the master organization. Okay, and this time I would like to create an item from an existing item. What is that existing item? You select it here. So nothing but creating a new item by selecting a similar item properties. By selecting a similar item properties.
Krishna, can you go slow a bit?
Okay. So I think you're new. You're not new to the screen, right? I selected the your and instead of create new, I'm selecting the create from copy. Okay, and I'm selecting an existing item that I want to copy. Is that clear now?
Yeah.
And here, I'm planning to create a new item by copying the existing item properties. And click on OK. Click on OK, and everything get copied from this item, even description also copied. I'm creating this item name and then description. So everything you see, unit of measure and everything, you'll see under the specifications also, every property is going to copy it from the existing item. Okay. Just you have to associate this item to the inventory ordinations. That's it. Clear with the copy item functionality?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Copy item. Okay. So creating multiple items at a time and then copy item functionality. Okay. Now we'll discuss how to mass update the items. If I go to manage items, and I'm searching for all my, I'm not able to see my items here. It's because of this item class issue. So these are all my items, item 1, item 2, and then item 3. These are all my items. Okay. Now I want to assign all these items to a new inventory ordination. You created new inventory ordination and you want to assign all these items to that inventory ordination. This is called as mass update. Or you want to assign to a new category. Okay. And you want to assign from a category, unassign. And we can also modify the item attributes also, like 290 attributes are there, right? That also we can modify. I will take one example here. I'll take a simple example here. There is a attribute called out of 290. There is an attribute called returnable, right? I'm adding returnable attribute to my view. Okay, so that I can see returnable attribute property also here. If I scroll to the right, so right now you see the returnable is selected to best for all these items. Okay. Now I want to modify this attribute. Okay. I use Control A to select all my items. I'm using Control A to select all my items and go to mass item changes and click on edit item attribute. And I want to select no. Returnable property, I would like to select no for all these items. So select no against every item and against every org. This is called mass update. Okay. I'm selecting no against all the items for every inventory ordination. So this item master ordination, this item Hyderabad org, and then Bangalore org. In every ordination, I'm selecting returnable to no. Okay. Click on next.
These changes can do on master level and INV level also, inventory levels.
It depends on the item attribute control. If it is org level control, you can do it at org level. If it's master level control, you can do it at master level. You have to check whether the item is controlled at nothing but the attribute is controlled at which level. According to that, you can perform this action.
Thank you.
Okay, now I selected returnable to no. And again, refresh the screen by searching again. After some time, the expectation is returnable should be no. After some time, because the moment you submit, there is a program which is going to run in the background. After completion of that program, you'll see the returnable attribute is going to be updated. So the mass update is for the ordinations. If you want to assign to a new inventory ordination or new category, or updating the item attributes. And the ADFD option is also there. It seems to be here. See, edit item attributes in spreadsheet. ADFD option is also there. I'm directly editing the attributes from the screen itself, but here using the ADFD also you can edit the item attributes. Let's check that mass update program, whether it is completed successfully or not. Tools, and I don't have access to the schedule process. Why? I don't see schedule process under my tools. It's I'm adding to my view. Tools and schedule process. It's still running. It's still running. Here I can search with my user. I want to see the program submitted by me. Okay, now these are related to, all these programs are related to our item mass update. Now all of them are completed successfully. Now if I click on search, got it? You see, clear team. Not only updating this attribute, in a similar way you can update other attributes also. This is called as mass update.
Do we have a feasibility to get an auto mail alert, sir, like this? Once we create any program.
When you're scheduling a program, you can do that. But when the programs are automatically submitted based on any action, you don't have that facility.
Okay, sir.
When you're scheduling a program, you can put your email ID.
Okay,
That you
sir.
know
Once,
already.
yes. Once finished, it comes to us automatically.
Right. Any doubts with the mass update? I want you to try with the ADFD option. I want you to try with the explore the ADFD option also. Okay. And okay, we discussed about mass update and we discussed about deletion group and comparing two similar items. Comparing two similar items. Where is that capability? Compare items. I think it's in the actions. Let me check. Yeah, it's in the actions. What you can do is you can select two similar items and you can compare them. You can select two similar items and you can compare them. Okay, I'm selecting this item and I'm selecting this item and you can do the comparison. If you click on compare, I'm selecting two similar items to compare. Go to actions and compare. Okay, you can see the comparison. Item 1 details and then item 2 details. But here on show all. Okay, it's only showing the limited information, right? It is showing the limited information. Only few details we are able to see. It could be because of the view. It could be because of the view. So in the view, we can see description and approval status, item status, long description, item class, organization. Only these fields are enabled to our view. Maybe yeah, maybe it's displaying only those information, it seems to be. Let me add few more columns to our view. I would like to add few more columns to our view. Add columns. Add columns. I would like to see the who created by. I would like to see created by. Let me add the created by to my view. And I'll perform the comparison now. Yeah, do you see here?
Yes.
Okay. So which column that you want to compare, you please add that column to your view, and then click on the compare button by selecting two similar reports. Okay. Here in this case, this item and this item, item 1 and item 2 I selected, and I did the comparison. Any questions?
So what is the use of it, sir? Comparison in a real time, how we can make?
So you are comparing the properties of two similar items, and you want to see what is difference between those two items.
Okay, sir. Okay. And that too, within the same organization only we can do it, sir. Inventory.
No, you can select a different organizations.
Okay, sir.
Hey Krishna, hi. Sorry, this is my first class. I'm not sure whether I can just put this question or not, but I just wanted to know about this feature compare. Like, do we have any limited options in this view? Because the very functionality of the compare itself is to know that we are comparing the attributes, but how do we know which attribute has been changed or not, since we have a limited count in this field?
How do we know which attribute is changed?
Let's assume I have a couple of items, and I would like to know what are the different attributes. I mean, what are the attributes which are different for those two items? Okay, I don't know which attribute has I mean, which value, and I would like to know what are the different values of the different attributes against those two items. Since we have a limited field over here, and I'm not sure of which attribute the value is different. In that case, how to go ahead with this feature?
Here you have to. Here you have to add
Do we
all
need to add all the 290 plus attributes to the so-called 280
yeah,
plus?
yeah, right. Yes. Here you see all the attributes list is there, right? So
Okay.
you select it all of them, and then you have to add to your view set.
That's again a bit tough task, right? And keeping in view the view size, and if not this, do we have any option to export them into a spreadsheet or something like that, by which a comparison would be a real easy, right? And any option like that?
Export, yeah.
Okay.
But again, to export, if export, it will display only
The
the
limited
column that
fields.
you
Correct.
only
Correct.
the columns that you added to your view. Okay. If you want to export the data also, again you have to add all the columns to your
Correct.
view.
Correct. Correct. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any more doubts? Any more doubts with the mass update? From the product management module, we completed discussing these topics, and this topic is pending. That is file-based data import, FBDI topic. I already covered ADFDI. ADFDI we already discussed. Okay. ADFDI we already discussed, and this FBDI I would like to explain after the inventory module. FBDI topic I want to explain after the inventory module. Okay. We'll see FBDI after the inventory module. And these are the important tables. In the product management, these two are important tables. This is the base table where the item information is stored. EZP system items, B, and this is the interface table. This is main interface table. Coming to interface tables for items, there are a lot of tables are there. Around 20 tables are there for the items, but this is the main interface table. EZP system items interface table. Okay. So there is a change in the prefix. In case of EBS, what is the item table? In case of EBS, what is the item table?
MTL system items B.
In case of EBS, it is MTL system items B, but in Fusion, you see the prefix is changed. EGP system items B. Okay, that is a change. This is the main table. Okay. Now, I would like to start with the inventory module. So we are done with the basic sheet, and we are done with the product management, and I want to start the inventory module. Okay. Is that okay?
So those tables where we can see, sir, item table.
How you know? Your question
Yes,
is
sir.
how we come to know this table name?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, true, sir.
So, do you remember I discussed about roles in the Oracle link? Do you remember where we find the role information? You're there
Yes,
in the
sir.
class.
Security,
yes,
is
sir.
it security?
So here, if you remember, we discussed about the roles from the Oracle link.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and here, if you want to see the roles related to procurement, okay, so you have to type security and then version 21D or 22A. You have to check the version. Okay.
Okay.
And in a similar way, to see the tables also same. Okay. Oracle
Mhm.
Fusion SCM tables 21D. 21D. Okay. Now, if you click on this link, you'll see all the tables information here. You'll see all the tables information here. Okay, related to all the modules. There are many tables are there. Being a functional consultant, we don't really require to remember all those table names. That's why in every module, I'm keeping the important tables information in our document itself. Suppose if you take procurement, In procurement, the important tables I'm keeping in the document itself. I'll show you. Yeah, this is the table. So this is requisition tables, and this is PO tables, and this is receiving tables. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And if you want, you can also view the tables from here. I'll just show you an example. Suppose if you want to see the procurement tables. Procurement tables 21D, the version. And here, if you click on the self-service procurement module, here you see SSP module related tables. And if you want to view the purchasing related tables, where is purchasing? Yeah. Purchasing related tables. So here, these are the PO tables. And out of all these tables, the important table which will store the purchase order information is PO headers file. So this is the table name and then table description and table, the primary key in the table. Again is the primary key, we write the joins and then table columns also. These are the table columns, including the column name, data type, and then some information related to that column. That column in the table is going to store which information. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So this is the link. You need to know how to search in the Google to fetch the right link to view the information. But all these tables we don't need to remember. The technical consultants also, they don't remember. Okay, they always look into this link to pick up the right table for their purpose. Being a functional consultant, as I mentioned, if you remember around 20 tables through the supply chain management modules, that should be okay. No need to remember all. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Krishna, as in EBS, we usually, I just wanted to know, in EBS, usually if you don't know the table name, we usually try to find it out from the front end, right? At least as a functional consultant. Like any option here in Fusion to do that, or
it's not available.
not
You
available.
go to the record history, and in case of EBS, you go to record history,
Correct.
and it will display the table name. Okay, but here we don't have that facility. And even who created that record, that option is provided from 2018 second quarter onwards. 2018. Even who columns also not provided by Oracle. Who created the record, when the record was updated, who updated the record. Okay, it was given from 2018 only, second quarter onwards.
Okay.
And the clients was really upset during that time because the record creation date is really important for everybody, right? To know who created the record when the record is created and it was not available. And clients were frustrated during that time.
Even in development of reports and as well, those are the basic things, right? Which at least technical people would usually view.
Yeah. Maybe down the line, Oracle may give that capability to view the table information directly from the screen, but currently it's not available.
And no backend access as well.
Backend access is there. We can connect to the database.
Okay.
Backend access is there. And I covered that topic also, how to connect to the database.
Yeah.
Here I covered.
Okay.
The basics itself, I covered how we can connect to the database here.
Oh, I'm sorry, because I have just viewed only
No
3 to 4 videos. I was actually a little skeptical whether to ask these queries or not, but thought, why don't I just ask it to get a confirmation on the call itself? Thanks for the class.
And in the inventory module, we'll see all these transactions. So in the inventory module, typically we maintain the stock and we perform the stock movement. we perform the stock movement. So we maintain the stock in the inventory module. Suppose if you are receiving the stock from the supplier, you keep in your inventory. And if you want to ship to your customer, you are going to ship from your inventory. And also not only those transactions, we also perform the internal movement also. Internal movement, moving the stock from one warehouse to the other warehouse. So when you compare inventory module with EBS, in case of EBS, if you could remember, we create items directly in the inventory module, right? In case of EBS, we create items directly in the inventory module.
Yes.
But in Fusion, inventory module is only allowed to perform the transactions. That's it. Inventory module is allowed to perform only transactions. That's it. We create items from the product management module only. We don't have a facility to create items from the inventory. Inventory module is allowed to perform the transactions. Receiving the stock from the supplier, shipping the stock to our customer, and maintaining the stock in our warehouse. Internal movement of the stock, all those transactions we perform from the inventory module only. Stock planning also. The stock planning also we perform from the inventory module. Okay. So first we'll discuss about the basic transactions under the inventory: miscellaneous receipt, miscellaneous issue, sub-inventory transfer, movement request, and inter-organization transfer. And coming to these transactions, when you compare with EBS, except this, everything is same. Except this transaction, okay? Everything is same. Miscellaneous receipt and then issue, sub-inventory transfer, inter-organization transfer. The way that we perform the execute the transaction is same like EBS. But this is changed in Fusion. Okay, this is called as mod in EBS. In Fusion, this is called as a movement request. Sir, what is the purpose of these transactions? We'll discuss that now. These two transactions are called as logical transactions. Logical transactions in the sense these two transactions not happen physically. These two transactions not happens physically. These two transactions only happens in the application. Only happens in the application for the stock adjustment. For the stock adjustment. Okay. So suppose if you want any on hand, suppose if you want any stock, what you have to do? If the item is a buy item, you place a PO and you receive the stock. If the item is a make item, you're going to manufacture and you increase your stock or you get your stock. But in case of miscellaneous receipt, we are going to instantly increase our on hand. We're going to instantly increase our on hand. Okay. In case of miscellaneous issue, we can decrease the on hand. Just we are going to perform these two transactions in the system only. In the system only to perform the stock adjustments. So I'll take your questions after showing these transactions in the application. And before we perform these transactions, first of all, our user should have a role. Our user should have a role. What is the role required to create items manually? What is the role required to create items manually?
Production manager.
Product manager. What is the role required to upload items?
Product
data steward. Okay. So to perform these inventory transactions, you should have warehouse operator role. Okay. Right now, our user is having warehouse operator role? No.
No, sir.
So we have to assign that particular role to our user now, to our business user. So warehouse operator role is required to perform the inventory transactions. Okay, I have given the description here. Okay, so the inventory transactions can be performed using this role except the setup part. So what is meant by setup part? Okay, the setup part is nothing but if you are having a warehouse manager role, you can perform simple configurations like creating a sub inventory, creating a new inventory ordination, creating a new locator that can be performed by the warehouse manager. IT team is not required. So just for creating a new locator or new sub inventory, new inventory ordination, they don't need to rely on the IT team. They can do it on their own. So, but that guy should have warehouse manager role. If that guy has the warehouse manager role, that guy can perform these simple configurations, like creating a new unit of measure. So such kind of warehouse setups can be configured by the warehouse manager role. If you're just having warehouse operator, you cannot perform setups. To perform setups, you should have warehouse manager role. Okay, we'll add. So generally, the application implementation consultant role, if you're having application implementation consultant role, you can perform any setup, right?
Yes, sir.
So that role is provided to implementation users. Do we provide that role to the business users?
No, sir.
No.
We didn't provide. Okay. So if you provide only warehouse manager role, warehouse related setups can be performed by that business user. If somebody is having more experience in the warehouse, and suppose if he has some Oracle knowledge also, because he is handling Oracle applications from the last 5 years, from the last 10 years, he know how Oracle application is working. So such kind of users are called as super users. Such kind of users are called as super users. So for super users who has basic product knowledge, so for such kind of users, we can provide warehouse manager role to perform simple configurations on their own. Okay. Now let's add this role to our business user. From the tools, security console. And we already created one business user, right? We have already created one business user. From the users, I'm searching for that business user login. Already warehouse manager is available. I'm adding the warehouse operator role. I'm adding the warehouse operator role. After adding the job role, we have to provide the data access. So warehouse operator, warehouse manager roles are job roles. So we'll provide data access. Data access can be provided manually and can be provided using ADFDI. Team, if you do the practice well, if I'm changing the screens quickly, then you can understand. If you're not practicing the application, if I change the screens, then you'll feel little fast. I'm adding warehouse operator role, data access here. These roles are inventory controlled. These roles are inventory controlled roles. So provide your inventory ordinations. Now, Krishna is a warehouse operator for which inventory org? There could be many inventory ordinations are there, but this guy is a warehouse operator for which inventory ordination? Now, are you able to see the master here?
No, sir. Since that is logical only.
Yeah, since it is logical, and also the master ordination is used only to create items. We don't perform any transactions. That's why you don't see master here. Okay. Now I'm a warehouse operator. Krishna is a warehouse operator for Patterpad inventory org. And I'm duplicating. I'm using the duplicate option, the duplicate button here. And Krishna is also a warehouse operator for Bangalore org also. Okay. That means I can handle the inventory transactions under both these inventory ordinations. Okay. And also, I'm a warehouse manager for both these inventory ordinations. I'm a warehouse manager for both these inventory ordinations. I'm a warehouse manager. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And it says already the combination exists. Did I selected operator or manager? I selected manager only. Why it is saying the combination is exist? Just to clear out this record, you can click on this clear button. I think it seems to be warehouse manager data access is already there. Okay, let me add only warehouse operator data access. Now I wanted to see the data access to my user. Okay, warehouse operator for Hyderabad and then warehouse operator for Bangalore, warehouse manager for Hyderabad and warehouse manager for Bangalore. Already the data access is available for warehouse manager role. That's why we got that error. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear with everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
After adding any new role, better to log out and log in. Better to log out and log in. Okay. And now, after adding the roles from the supply chain execution, you'll see this inventory. Chiranjeev, you can please mute yourself. From the supply chain execution, you'll see this inventory management app icon after adding warehouse operator role. And is this business user is having application implementation consultant role?
No.
No, right?
No.
But we added warehouse manager role, right? So now this guy is able to navigate to the setup and maintenance screen because this guy is a warehouse manager. That's why from the inventory module, if I click on the inventory management, so this guy can perform these configurations. This guy can create new sub inventories, new inventory ordinations. Because this guy is a warehouse manager. Warehouse manager. For how many inventory ordinations? For 2 inventory ordinations. Okay, that's why I'm able to see 2 inventory ordinations in the list. And I can create sub inventories under this Hyderabad org. I can create. Not only that, locators also. Not only the sub inventory creation and locator creation, this guy can also create unit of measures also. And this guy can create new inventory ordinations also. Suppose if I go to the procurement, we are creating the inventory ordinations from here only, right? If you go to the ordination structure, see, now this guy is having access to the inventory ordinations creation also. Okay. And not only that, this guy can create carriers also. And let me cross check from the product management that this guy is able to create unit of measures or not. If I go to the items, yeah, he has access to the unit of measures. Okay, plus button is also there. That means this guy can create the unit of measures also. Okay. So just for defining these simple configurations, they need not to wait for the IT team. They can create on their own. Who has some basic product knowledge, that guy can create it. Okay. Now, since this guy is also a warehouse operator, from the supply chain execution, the inventory management type icon is displayed. Inventory management type icon is displayed. And these are called as infolets. These are called as infolets. These are called as infolets. Currently, all these infolets are displayed in your view, or displayed in this view, in your view. If you don't want to display some infolets, because I don't want to track this, I don't want this to be displayed. So you can uncheck from here. The shipment lines, if you don't want to see that information, you can uncheck the shipment lines so that it won't be displayed to your view. Okay, so what is this? This is nothing but the information related to our inventory transactions. Information related to our inventory transactions. These are called as infolets, and we can rearrange these infolets also. The important infolets, you want to keep it on the top row, you can rearrange, or you can display, you can make them visible, or you can make them hide by selecting from here. Some business users, they will report some slowness in the instance. Okay, one of the reasons is these infolets. Suppose if you click on the inventory management, right now the infolets data is trying to load. Okay, that's why they see some slowness. Okay, if they issue any, or if they report any slowness in the application, what you can do is you can uncheck their infolets. You can ask them to uncheck their infolets so that those infolets won't be displayed here, and this screen is going to be quickly get loaded. You can ask them to uncheck, not required. You can keep them only the required infolets and ask them to uncheck the remaining infolets so that the space is going to be loaded very quickly. And now, from the inventory, I would like to perform a miscellaneous transaction. What type of transaction I want to perform? I want to perform miscellaneous receipt. Nothing but increasing the on hand in our inventory ordination. What is the current time? 5th March, 8:58. But what is the time here?
3:30.
It's 3:30. It's because application by default is in UTC time zone. By default, application is in UTC time zone. I'll show you. What is the current time? 3:30 a.m. What is the application time also? 3:30 a.m. By default, application is under any cloud application. Not only this cloud application, any Oracle Fusion Cloud application, by default, it is under UTC time zone only. By default, it is under UTC time zone only. Even in the table level also, the date or the timestamp that you see, that is displayed under UTC time zone only. Suppose in the front end, if you want to see your local time zone, you have to set up the preferences. Click on set preferences. From the drop down here. First, let me cancel this screen. Yes, I would like to cancel the screen. And from the drop down, you click on the set preferences. Suppose if you are working under set preferences, click on regional. So you can select your, I'm working from India, so I'll select territory as India. And then what is your preferred date format? Generally, Indians, they use this date format, right? DD, MM, YY. Okay. And then time format, okay, let it be. And number format, also currency Indian rupees. And then time zone, I would like to select India time zone, which is Kolkata. Okay. So these are user specific settings, user specific preferences. So after setting to our local time zone, if I open that screen again, from the supply chain execution section and then inventory management, click on the task list, click on create miscellaneous transactions. Now you see which time zone?
What time zone, sir?
Our time zone. Okay. But in the table level, in the front end, we are able to see our time zone. But in the table level, always you'll see the UTC time zone only. UTC time zone only in the table level. It is not possible to view the information in your local time zone at the table level. All the cloud applications has the same behavior. Suppose when you're generating the reports, when you're developing the reports, suppose if you want to convert that UTC time zone to the local time zone, there is a SQL query. Using that SQL query, you can convert UTC time zone to the local time zone, so that in the report that you are running, it will display the dates or time in your local time zone. And I would like to perform miscellaneous receipt here. I want to perform miscellaneous receipt here. I am selecting the transaction type called miscellaneous receipt. This is called header information. In the header information, you'll see the date and then the type of transaction that I want to perform, type of transaction. And the source is nothing but the purpose. Okay, the purpose of this transaction, if you want, you can enter here 44 batch. And then this transaction should hit to which account? I want this transaction should hit to this company, so-and-so company, and then so-and-so department. So we defined our own chart of accounts, right? According to our own chart of account, this data is displaying here. So you can pick up any account randomly because we are just practicing. That's okay if you pick up any account here. This combination cannot be used. I'll click on search and I'll select the combination which we already used. This combination we already used when entering the return earnings account. Instead of selecting manually from the drop down, I'm using the section, I'm selecting the account. So for practice purpose, any account you can select, no problem. And use current item cost. This is nothing but I'll show you. Wait a moment. Do you remember this attribute? We discussed about this attribute at the inventory organization level.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and item. I want to perform some transactions on this item. And under Hyderabad inventory organization, we have how many sub inventories? I think we created 3. And I would like to store the stock under this warehouse. And I want to store 2000 quantity. So since you selected use item current cost for this transaction, application is gonna take the cost that you defined for this item. So where we define item cost? We define item cost under the costing module that we'll see later. We define cost for this item under the costing module. Suppose if you select this to as, that means you want application to use that item cost that you defined. Suppose if you select no here, you have to provide item cost here. If you select no here, you have to provide the item cost here. You click on show that unit cost field here. So here you have to enter the item cost for this transaction. You have to enter the item cost for this transaction. Here you should enter. The item cost is, the cost of this item is 100. Okay. And in the ordination level, in the ordination parameters, use current item cost checkbox is enabled there. That's why by default, the S value is selected here. By default, S value is selected here. I'm not sure how many of you are able to remember that inventory ordination screen. That's why I'm opening that inventory ordination. When defining the inventory ordination, use current item cost. This is enabled. That's why by default S is selected here. But you can still change it to the no at the header level, and you can select no at the line level also. At the line level also. Okay, and we provided the cost here. And how much quantity that I'm trying to load here? 2000 quantity. Under which warehouse? Under RM warehouse. So this 2000 quantity is coming from whom? What is the source? Are we taking this 2000 from supplier?
Supplier.
Are we manufacturing? Are we manufacturing? No. There is no source for this transaction. There is no source for this transaction. That's why this is called as a logical transaction. These logical transactions are used to adjust the system stock. It is used to adjust the system stock. Okay, so 2000 I'm loading now. Not only one item, you can click on plus button to add multiple items to the same transaction. Not only one item, you can click on plus button to add multiple lines, multiple items to the same transaction. Click on submit button. Click on the submit button, and after that, to view the on hand, click on manage item quantities. Click on manage item quantities, and here I would like to view the on hand for so and so item. I'm searching the item here and click on search. I'm selecting the item and click on search. Now you see 2000 quantities available. 2000 quantities available here. So this 2000 quantities available under which ordination, and it is available under which warehouse, which sub inventory. You can expand and see here. Now this 2000 quantity we are instantly increasing here. We are not getting from any supplier. We are not manufacturing also. We are just increasing the on hand by using the miscellaneous receipt. Suppose if you want to deduct some on hand. Suppose if you want to remove some on hand, if you want to deduct some on hand, we can perform miscellaneous issue. Same screen, go to the same screen. Go to the same screen and we can perform miscellaneous issue here. Miscellaneous issue. And select the account. Any account you can select. Okay, and here I'm entering the item. This sub inventory is having the on hand. That's why the sub inventory is defaulted here. And I want to issue some 50 quantity, out of this 2000 quantity. 50 quantity I would like to issue out. I would like to issue out 50 quantity. Okay, and click on submit. Now you can verify the on hand. Now how much it should display in the warehouse? 1950. 1950 is there. Miscellaneous receipt and miscellaneous issue. Just it is used for the stock adjustment. The next transaction is sub-inventory transfer. The next transaction is sub-inventory transfer. This is a physical transaction. Suppose physically you are moving stock from one warehouse to other warehouse. Physically you are moving the stock from one warehouse to other warehouse. That physical transaction you have to enter in the system also. That physical transaction you have to enter in the application also. Click on create sub-inventory transfer. Click on create sub-inventory transfer and select the sub-inventory transfer from the list of values and source the purpose 44 match the purpose of the transaction. And I wanted to move this item stock from one warehouse to other warehouse. From RM, I want to move the stock to. I want to move the stock to cold storage. And this sub-inventory is not a locator control. Okay, that's why you don't need to provide a locator, but this sub-inventory is a locator control. Is a locator control. So you have to select the locator combination that you already created. So these are the two locator combinations that we already created. And I would like to store under this place. I would like to store under this location. And how much quantity you want to store? I would like to store 200 quantity. Okay, reason is optional. Reason field is optional. If you want, you can provide stock adjustment. So these are Oracle provided reasons. We can also create our own reasons. There is a lookup. There is a lookup setup to create our own reasons here. So what we are doing here, we are moving the 200 quantity from this warehouse to this warehouse, from this sub-inventory to this sub-inventory. What is the source here? What is the destination here? This one. If any transaction having source and destination, such type of transactions are called as physical transactions. In the previous case, our miscellaneous transactions are not having the source, or if the source is there, destination is not there. So physically, we moved 200 on hand physically. That transaction we are also entering in the system. That transaction we are also entering in the system. It's a predefined. This is predefined. If it is dynamic entry, suppose at the time of defining the sub-inventory, you can select the dynamic entry also. If you select dynamic entry, this locator combination dynamically you can provide. Since it is predefined, we are selecting the predefined locator combinations here. We are selecting the predefined locator combinations here. It's not a dynamic entry. The question asked in the chat, that's I explained. Okay, we are done with this transaction also. Now we can verify the on hand.
Sir, since we're moving 200 quantity, is there an impact on the cost?
Of course. Of course. That we'll see in the costing module. Okay, all these transactions, I'm going to cost after defining the costing module setups. All these transactions I'm going to cost. Then you'll understand.
Okay.
So RM is having 1750, and then the cold storage sub inventory is having 200 quantity. So total on hand is 1950. Okay, so under the inventory module, we discussed about these 3 transactions. Okay, so on Monday's session, we will discuss about movement request and then remaining transactions. Okay, so today I completed with the item. I completed with the copy item feature and creating multiple items, nothing but more than one item, and then compare item, mass update. And after that, we discussed about warehouse operator role and warehouse manager role, warehouse operator and warehouse manager, and we completed discussing these 3 transactions. Okay, so that's it from my side for today, and I'll verify the practice status from the 44 batch. Sandeep, you're there?
Yes, sir.
So product management is completed, Sandeep.
Yes, sir.
Product
Till item
management
plans
practices.
is done.
Please complete remaining topics also by this weekend.
Sure, sure.
Okay, thank you, Sandeep. Next, please. Next, who sent me the status? Jignesh, thank you. Jignesh. Done with the enterprise structure, that's it?
Yes, yes.
Again, you created another instance?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. And please complete the product management also by this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Thank you, Jignesh. And Chiranjeevi. Int of measures, conversions, very good. So you're able to manage your time to complete all the topics, practice on the time. Thank you. And this is written from him. Okay, team, I'll see you on Monday session. So please complete product management module practice. And just a small activity from today's session. We performed miscellaneous issue, receipt and subinventory transfer with the current date, right? Just verify whether these transactions are allowed in the backdate or not. Verify these transactions are allowed in the future date or not. Okay.
Okay.
That is assignment, and let me know the result tomorrow, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay.
Sure. Sir, I have one quick question.
Tell me, sir.
On the transaction page, in the transaction page, can we enable source locator? It is grayed out right now and enable only for
That is a grayed out is because that sub inventory RM sub inventory is not a locator control.
Okay,
If it is a locator, suppose if it is a locator control, that will get automatically enabled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Tell me, Neha.
Krishna, I'm stuck somewhere. Can you please check it?
Which one?
I'm unable to, assign legal entity and ledger. So there is something missing in from my side actually. I'm trying actually, but not able to find.
What's the
out.
instance?
Just a second. It's a UCF6
ZMA or ZXOR?
ZXOR.
So you're not able to assign your legal entity to your ledger.
Yes, yes.
What's your ledger name?
Goel Ganga GG.
Financials and Which one?
The upper one.
What's your legal entity name?
GG. Again, the same name. That's creating.
What's your legal entity name? Please tell me your name, legal entity name properly.
Sir, it's a GG legal entity.
If I search with GZ, nothing I'm getting. I think this is your legal
Goel
entity.
Ganga. Yeah.
Please be ready with your data before asking questions to save the time.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Huh?
I think she has added that legal entity to my primary ledger also, named as a primary ledger. Yesterday I saw it in my ledger.
Oh, what's your lecture?
As a primary ledger.
first one?
Yes, sir.
She has added here. Okay.
I tried to remove it, but it's not removed.
Hmm. Create a new one and then add to your lecture.
Yes, sir.
Create a new legal entity and add to your lecture. It seems to be you attached the legal entity to a wrong lecture.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Any more doubts, Neha?
No, sir. Only this one. I am not able to attach.
No,
You
like,
are assigned to another lecture.
Okay, fine. Sir, means how to assign means I have to create another legal entity.
Correct. Create another legal entity because it seems to be it's not possible to remove the assignment that you already did.
Okay, from different name right now.
You can create new legal entity just by adding one as a suffix or a
Okay.
prefix
Mhm.
with the same name.
Okay.
Sir, can we remove that legal entity from ledger? Since
not there, right?
it shows in my purchase order also.
Oh, okay. I think it seems to be it's not possible. But there is no delete button here. Is it possible to inactivate the legal company? Let me check. I think no, but end date is there. We'll put the end date. Okay. Fine.
Yes, sir.
We'll put the end date. I selected yesterday date. You should not display in your ledger or in your transactions. Next question, please.
in the transactions form, when you're trying to do this miscellaneous, could you please go back to that form if you don't mind?
Which form?
The miscellaneous transaction screen.
Okay. Okay.
See here, the use current item cost here. Let's assume I have a user end user who is performing this transaction, but however, if you go, he's able to enter the unit cost, right? The item
Right.
unit cost.
Correct.
Do I have any option because you have added that field by going to view, if I'm not wrong?
Correct.
Okay. Do I have any options such that the user shouldn't touch these fields, because it again comes back to the security, right? I mean, the user shouldn't have the access to change the item cost. Do I have any option to do that?
Either we can control the personalization, otherwise we can control from the role privilege also. Okay, Veracruz operator has a privilege. If item cost related any privilege is there, we can remove that privilege from the role. Otherwise, we have to do the personalization.
Oh, is it? Okay, fine. Thanks.
Any more practice doubts? Team, please complete product management model practice by this weekend. Okay, send me your status.
Do we have any session, I mean, in this course curriculum, which covers form personalizations? I mean, a minimum of one, so to get an idea.
I'm covering.
You're covering, right? Okay, fine.
I'm covering. I already covered that's called as a sandbox.
Okay.
I already covered sandbox here.
Okay.
And in the sandbox, I covered 2 objects and one more object called page composer. That page composer object we used to perform the personalization activities. That page composer object I'm covering under order management model, because in the order management, we're going to make order type field as a mandatory field. By default, order type is optional in Fusion. We'll make the mandatory field.
Okay, you got a personalization. Okay, no worries. Okay. I'll try to complete the rest of the courses. I'll get in touch.
Sure.
I'll try to. Sorry if I've posted the question.
No problem. No problem. No problem.
Thanks.
Any more questions you have?
Nothing as of now. Let me just review the videos which you have completed. I mean, at least till yesterday. I'll try to complete them in these 2 days over the weekend, and let's.
Yeah. Since you're having already the experience of EBS, it's not really tough for you to complete them.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try to go through them, but we have to cover the entire course content, right? So that, yeah, the security and all that part, it's a bit new to me because that is something which got introduced in the Fusion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Krishna.
Okay, Abhinav. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.